Hiya, hiya, welcome to the Joey Reynolds Birdland. Broadcasting live from my porch in Florida with long sleeves. That's why you would never know. But it was the lighting of the tree in Rockefeller Center yesterday on NBC, and I was famous for that at one time. I will tell you all about it when I was on WNBC Radio in the afternoon replacing Howard Stern's slot. I didn't exactly replace him. He got fired from NBC and went over to K-Rock, and meanwhile they didn't have anybody for about 6 months, and they brought me in from Philly. We had a good show in Philly. I would never have left Philadelphia. Philadelphia is next to godliness, you know. But I came in and did the show with Jay Sorensen, and my co-host was Bill Sheff. We hired him. He was a sports writer, and he became Letterman's chief writer. Also, Grace Under Fire, Brett Butler. She was my sidekick as well. We had a great show. But, that was the show where the helicopter went down in the middle, not in that particular day, but in the fall of the year, the helicopter went down. Jane Dornacker, unfortunately, was our traffic reporter, and she was downed in October for the second time the helicopter went down, but this time she didn't make it, sadly. So we had a good representation with Robin and Whoopi Goldberg were good friends of hers in San Francisco because they were with a company that was doing improv comedy, and Robin came and celebrated her and gave a great. Well, first of all, he was on the air with me, and then we went to St. Patrick's Cathedral for the funeral mass, which incidentally, somebody said, "What were you doing on January 6th?" And one guy says, "I did the right thing on January 6th." And I thought, yeah, what did you do? You went to church. January 6th is a little Christmas in the Latin communities, you know. That's when they really celebrate the arrival of the wise men, if you know the story of Christmas, and I think many of us do. That's when the wise men arrived, and they came and brought gifts on January 6th. So that's when they exchanged gifts in the Latin community. A lot of the Mexico and Guatemala and the various South American countries, that's what they do on January 6th. We had other things to do on January 6th. In this country, we're not that religious, although isn't it the circumcision of Jesus on that date? Yeah, well, speaking of that, Israel has that Omicron now. There was a doctor who has caught that disease. He is Israeli, and he was talking about how he has a mild symptom of it. And there was only one other person that was brought off an airplane, and everybody seemed to not catch it, and he didn't get so sick. But the Omicron sounds like the name of a video game, right? We're going to go play Omicron. Something that we would name with Disney when he had Tron. Remember, was it Tron? And I was working on Star Wars, and he had Tron. Disney. Well, not he. I mean the company. So it's been a long ride of many things, including the lighting of the Christmas tree, which was very interesting. The year that I was there in 1986, I think it was, when Helen Hayes was alive, and Liberace and Penn and Teller were there, and we had the full rehearsal of the lighting of the tree, which is a show on NBC. And I was out there every day with my microphone anyway, all during the week. But this is the lighting of the tree day, and I went up there and I had my WNBC credentials and my NBC paraphernalia, and I went up and talked to, I think it was Liberace. Yeah, he said, he was wearing a big long fur coat, and I said, "Wow, that's a beautiful coat." He says, "Yeah, it's something I had in the closet." I said, "Don't be ridiculous. You haven't been in the closet in a number of years." But we had fun, and I'll tell you what happened. Because I had talked to them and I was up on the stage and I had my NBC stuff, the crew thought it was a rehearsal for the lighting of the tree, and they all assembled, and I almost got fired because I got all these union people to come back to work too soon. They came back to light the tree in a rehearsal, and it was my rehearsal, not theirs. And we sang Fractured Christmas Carols, written by Bill Sheff and also Tom Quigley, who became a writer in Hollywood. All these people came off the show and got very famous and successful because they were good. And Jay Sorensen and I, well, Jay was always the guy who was the background guy. He would come to work and do all of the setup stuff. And my friend, became my friend, was Tim Whitaker. He was from Philly. He was a writer of magazines and the Philadelphia Inquirer. And we had, I guess I forgot to mention the producer of the show, Mr. Doyle. And he gave us the whole deal there. We had a guy who did nothing but change the water on the show. That's how elaborate it was at NBC. And there was a time when we opened the curtains of the studio on the outside. You could be looking in the windows and watch the disc jockey on the air, or the ensemble, because everybody had 5 people on their show. It started with Imus in the morning. The Morning Zoo, I think, imitated what we were doing there. We had 5 on every set. Howard Stern had 5 people. Soupy Sales had 5. I had 5. It was a gang of 5, and it was a setup for The View, and all the other shows that followed on television that had the gang of 5, the talk. All those things came as a result of what we were doing on NBC. And Imus in the morning was the beginning of it as far as success is concerned for sponsors. And speaking of that, NBC television, I'm watching this morning, they turned into the home shopping channel. And Good Morning America, they're showing you all the things to shop for Christmas, and you get 50% off on GMA. I mean, all of a sudden it's become the shopping channel and the cooking channel. And they're talking about food, they're talking about shopping. I felt like I went to a home ec class. What happened to regular television? Now, I don't want to hear about the news. I mean, don't give me anything about the politics, about whether we should have the virus or not. But somebody in New Hampshire, some woman teacher, I think it was, she didn't wear her mask to class, and they arrested her in New Hampshire for not having a mask on in her class. Yeah, the bird seconded the emotion. It's like she called the bird Smokey Robinson. So I don't know if you're old enough to remember Smokey Robinson. He was at Motown Records, still here. He's performing here this week. The Rolling Stones were just here. The Indians they got a lot of wampum, and they have the peyote, so they've been giving everybody a job down here. Who do we have? We've had every rock and roll icon here. Boy, we've been conning people for a long time. Icon. I con every morning here. I love that. I love the way that we are living in this society where everybody pretends that everything is just wonderful. It's a pretend where we fill stadiums and everybody goes to all these things, and it's not the same, and it can't be the same because we haven't gotten rid of that virus yet. The major one. Pfizer is my friend now. The combination of Pfizer and Morgan & Morgan, and boy, I'm all set for life. What a new society, right? What if you were put to sleep and then you woke up now? What if you were put to sleep years ago? And what if Jimmy Stewart came back and It's a Wonderful Life? They had that version of It's a Wonderful Life with which stars Donald Trump. Have you seen that one? Yeah, where Clarence the Angel tells him to jump. It's different, than times earlier in our society. So that's about it. There's not too much happening today, and I like it that way. When everybody minds their own business, news is scarce, and the police have become the news. Everybody on the newscast is reading the police blotter. It's all about crime and passion, and the passion that you have for crime and for your great relationships with various people that you don't want around anymore. That's what my ex-wife says to me. I get that speech every morning. She has a calendar like McDonald's used to have those signs, how many hamburgers were served. She has how many days I was here in her house, Listen, I've outlived 3 birds. I'm not doing too poorly, but then I'm accused of killing the birds. Now, how would me, an animal killer, can you imagine me killing a bird? Where is that little sucker? It's a Reynolds wrap. Ouch.